plans out global goals, blueprints for global domination every century, every 100 years. The cultural shifts every century via these blueprints, which are passed down through ancient bloodlines. This is how it is possible to stay in power and steer the agenda for humanity to the oldest goal of the world, ruling the world. The looming crisis of 2050 is now being pushed on a global scale via high-level propaganda and mind control.
The bad news? He says in the next 30 years, we need scientific breakthroughs and global cooperation on a scale the world has never seen.
Google algorithms are making sure that everybody sees the 60 Minutes with Bill Gates as it was trending. These public relation videos they want you to see on trending and recommendations. What is trending this week in pop culture for the global psyche is the Bill Gates interview on 60 Minutes. A very, very happy Bill Gates tells us that the new crisis is coming. It will be a natural disaster to the environment at catastrophic levels. And we must change the entire world and its economy by 2050.
I believe this is the toughest challenge humanity has ever faced.
Absolutely. It's way greater than the pandemic, and it needs a level of cooperation that would be unprecedented.
And all the technocrats and United Nations are pushing these 2030 goals. AOC, Billie Eilish, these Illuminati celebrity puppets are telling you to YOLO, you only live once, and not to care about the future because everyone's gonna die in 10 years.
Girl, I'm not gonna live till 80. None of us are. You kidding me? We have like 10 years left. We gotta help the environment. That's what I hope. I hope that the world doesn't say it's over for you bitches and then kill us all.
YOLO, we should care about the environment, but we're pushing the YOLO culture and the world's gonna end. And this is what they're pushing on the children who shop at Zoomies. These changes to the economy are one of the biggest power grabs the world has ever seen. Bigger than this new normal, which will benefit Bill Gates' anti-constitutional monopoly friends and their wallets in their pockets deeply. But it is not about the money, because they can create money out of thin air. They just print it by a click of the button, and then your digital dollar is just created. They can just type in, because money is created out of thin air, and then they charge the peasants, the slaves, interest on the created currency. This is about power, not money. This is why Jeff Bezos bought Amazon, not because it was profitable, because it wasn't profitable. As he lowered the cost of everything, like a monopoly, like a Walmart, what was left of the economy after everybody in their small mom and pop shops had to close down, it was cheaper to go there. Now he's in control of the food chain. And who else is now in control of the food chain? The biggest American farm owner? It's, yes, Bill Gates, who wants to push his fake meat onto everybody as his favorite food is a hamburger. But he wants you to eat his fungus, because these companies get fungus and that's how they make the meat.
But farming the vegetables used to make many meat alternatives emits gases as well. So Gates is also backing a company that's created an entirely new food source.
Is using fungi, and then they turn them into sausage and yogurt.
Jeff Bezos is now in control of the food chain and their survival of the jam-packed cities of Agenda 21. Agenda 21 is the blueprint written in 1992 by the United Nations, and then Amazon was created in 1994, just 2 years later. Is that a coincidence? Is it a coincidence that the richest man in the world, Elon Musk, funded by government subsidiaries, and coincidentally, all these billionaires like Bezos, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, because of the pandemic, they tripled their wealth and became even more wealthier, billions of dollars, how big wealth transfer? All this just coincidences? Now, the largest farmland owner In the United States, Bill Gates, whose best friend is Warren Buffett and his favorite food is hamburgers, this Beyond Meat, fake meat agenda is not about the cruelty or torture of animals, although they'll push that for PR. The real agenda is way more sinister. These wealthy elitists are pushing the agenda for us not to eat farm food, but instead eat their corporations' fake meat, all in the name of, I'm a good person saving the environment. Don't you love the environment? Save the world with us, or you're a bad, bad boy and girl. The lack of human empathy, emotional intelligence, and the superego of the masses are decompartmentalized in the human psyche. This is a psychological trick being played on knowing the true state of the psychological stance of where the humans are at this moment. They have AI algorithms that can predict what you're going to do before you buy or before you go do something. They know your weaknesses and wants, and these AI algos were created by these same technocrats moving us into the world domination scenario, where it will be 500 million people living in a utopia and the rest of the world living in a dystopia if you make it that far.
That's what it has to be.
Yeah, it's an all-out effort, like a world war, but it's us against greenhouse gases.
All these things that Bill Gates and his cronies want to change in the world will directly benefit them, which makes me fear of a future Hegelian dialect problem reaction solution situation coming to our shores. Bill Gates warned the world of a pandemic, and it hit. Now he is warning of an end times natural disaster due to carbon emissions, greenhouse gases, removing all the carbon footprint by the evil fossil fuels. We, the human race, also breathe out carbon. Is it a coincidence how they edit this video that was recently posted 24 hours before the 60 Minutes interview, named Bill Gates' advice on how to combat mistrust in science, where they add in a clip out of the blue, out of nowhere, just was misplaced, just made no sense to put it there. But what he was saying made a lot of sense, and it was in context, even though it seemed like everything was out of context. Nothing happens for a reason.
I asked him about the mistrust in science and all, these conspiracy theories that are floating around about him, about the world, about his work with vaccines. And clearly there's frustration there.
How does one battle that?
Well, we have to make the truth more interesting than the oversimplistic conspiracy.
How do you do that?
There may be some need to slow down the crazy stuff. And so you're able to actually get rid of some CO2 by sticking it in the cement.
The truth of what Bill Gates is doing on climate change, on coronavirus.
They don't air this on 60 Minutes unless there is a reason to air it. Every single thing you see in a movie or a news situation where things are placed, I have a pin on me, and there's a reason why I have that. Everything is planned out for a purpose.
A series of falsehoods. And so you're able to actually get rid of some CO2 by sticking it in the cement.
The truth of what Bill Gates is doing on climate change, on coronavirus.
And what they talked about was stating how they can combat mistrust and conspiracy theories and how to attack it and battle it. How to battle stupid, crazy conspiracy theories. Then it cuts to a clip, randomly out of place, saying, get rid of some CO2 by sticking it in cement.
A series of falsehoods. And so you're able to actually get rid of some CO2 by sticking it in the cement.
The truth of what Bill Gates is doing on...
Is this a warning? Some CO2, humans breathing maybe? Putting them in the ground, the grave, the cement? What are your thoughts?